Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting episode. While the conversation continues, a lot of fans are still waiting for Lupe Fiasco to finally reveal the Eminem story he hinted at during that unforgettable debate. And trust me, the anticipation has only grown stronger.
Eminem, you ready for the story about Eminem?
Hey, are you gonna tell me the same story about Lupe?
I don't mind.
Lupe Fiasco has been making plenty of headlines over the past few hours, breaking down every detail of the Kendrick Lamar debate and explaining the controversy that erupted after he boldly claimed that Logic is a stronger rapper than Kendrick. You won't believe how quickly that opinion sparked reactions, and somehow even Nas ended up getting pulled into the conversation as the debate continued to grow. But that's not all, because we've also got a fresh update involving Eminem's shady records artist, Westside Boogie, and it's got people throwing unexpected shots in Eminem's direction. On top of that, Rick Ross is still acting confused about why fans refuse to let things slide after discovering he was flying on a commercial airline, and the internet definitely has plenty to say about it.
Feel that this the big jet. One wing is 40,000 just to put gas in one wing.
Was that you at the airport?
One wing, of course it was.
Okay, because when I saw the airport thing, for one, I didn't think it was you because it didn't look like it was people around you where that could have been you, right?
No, that was me.
But then also, I was like, there's a difference between I want to and I am as opposed to I have to.
No, that wasn't the
Like,
situation.
there was no have to.
No,
right?
not at all. Man, I had my jet in the spot getting upgraded with Starlink.
Don't cap.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So boom, it's a festival going on in Colombia. All my homies, Trick Daddy, Ball Greasy, Miami. The whole Miami over there. So boom, we jump on a commercial flight. Boom, we flew first class there and back. Cartagena, maybe 2 hours. So we go over there, we party all day. We got a 6 a.m. flight coming back.
So you can't, to the public, you couldn't fly commercial? Is that what people felt?
Rose could fly anywhere. I'm the boss.
Don't cap.
I could move how I want to move.
Yeah, because
whatever was supposed to have been funny, that I missed it. I ain't understand that because I just went and got some paper. We went, partied all day, the 6 a.m. flight. We just went right back to the airport. Ain't no lounge in Colombia. So Rose went in there. I had all my homies was scattered everywhere out there. We sitting right in front of the gate. I flew first class, which it don't matter, but I'm sitting outside the gate. I done went to sleep. So whoever filmed me could have shot a rap video. They shorted themselves. But hoodie down, I was gone.
And Rick Ross acting like he has no idea why people reacted so strongly really isn't helping his case. Because when you look at the full context, everything starts to make a lot more sense.
Commercial? Y'all clowning people that fly commercial? No, people can. The biggest boss, he can't. The dude that makes it his business to clown everybody else plane, the same dude that went on an entire Instagram rant clowning Drake's plane, no, that person cannot be seen about to board a commercial flight.
And don't forget, the receipts are already out there. Rick Ross publicly mocked Drake's customized Boeing 767 by calling it an old plane. Yet now we're expected to believe that him flying commercial is somehow off limits for jokes. That's exactly why people aren't buying the act. You already know if this had happened to 50 Cent, Rick Ross would have been the first one laughing, instead of pretending not to understand the criticism. To make things even more interesting, his claim about flying first class has also been questioned, since early reports suggested he was actually sitting in economy. Oh my God. Meanwhile, Lupe Fiasco's latest rant took the entire conversation to another level. The controversy wasn't just about him insisting he's a better lyricist than Kendrick Lamar, but also because he confidently claimed he could name anywhere from 50 to 100 rappers he believes are better than Kendrick. And that bold statement didn't go unchecked, as former Shady Records artist Stat Quo stepped in and publicly called him out over those comments.
Things that Lupe has done that come across as a hater to Kendrick.
Yeah.
And they don't cover the positive things he says about Kendrick. And I understand why it's hard to focus on the positive things if you're going to say 100 rappers nobody's heard of is better than Kendrick Lamar. Like a lot of stuff it's hard to look at this without another lens. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to interpret that way.
Just, you know how many hundreds is? Yeah, but when you speaking on these platforms, people going to take it literally. So Lupe, hundreds, bruh. That's not true. I don't give a fuck. What you can name all the names you know, people that we never heard of. You're not gonna tell me there's hundreds of them that are better than him, because if that was the case, hip hop would be in a much better place. There are not hundreds of rappers better than the who was spitting complicated raps at the fucking Super Bowl. No way. I like this at the Super Bowl. At the Super Bowl, the audience is looking like, what is he talking about?
He's going full length of the football field
At the Super Bowl.
Euphoria.
Super Bowl. And guess what?
Sashaying.
No. And another thing, one of the most watched shows ever. They didn't turn it off.
Yeah.
They could have turned it off. We sat and watched it. Oh shit. One of the most watched motherfuckers. So we watch it and give us bars and complication at one of the times where we drunk, eating greasy food, and we want the most palatable experience that we can have. And we're sitting watching them give us a dissertation on hip hop and rap and culture. And you telling me there are hundreds of better than him? Man, Dave Freeze said it best. You gotta push your ass up out of here with that. That's some bullshit, bro. Respectfully, you are a goat, but you want some fuck shit. Right. That's whole shit. Oh shit, I know it's your man's. That's whole shit. He know that ain't right. And so what needs to happen, what he should do, is sit down with Justin, have a one-on-one. Hey, have the spot. Come pull up and stop going on platforms with people that want to downplay your light and put you in a position where you look like a buster ass hater. Cause I know you're not a hater in real life, but this shit look like it. It ain't about, we was having a conversation. I tell the conversation. And Elle Janelle called before we came on. She's like, it's the super fans. No, Elle, I'm going to say this respectfully. It's him as well, because he should not be going to these places, having these conversations. And if he didn't go to these places and have these conversations, and we wouldn't have nothing to talk about. He's having these conversations. Nobody said he told him to say it's hundreds of better than Kendrick. You don't need to be running. You don't need to be doing those type of explanations. You are God MC. You're one of the great.
We also finally got King Green's perspective, the same artist who teamed up with Eminem on Royce da 5'9's Caterpillar. And you won't believe this, because King Green didn't hold back at all, arguing that Lupe Fiasco simply isn't a better lyricist than Kendrick Lamar. And he pointed to one specific reason that he believes settles the entire debate.
A lyricist has nothing to do with how great your music skills are. Here's what I'm trying to say. When you go into a studio and you have someone who's more of a lyricist, you have somebody who's a top liner. Top liner means that I'm coming up with the melody, or maybe I'm coming up with the flow. Like in a Drake studio session, there's a nigga coming up with the flows, and then there's a nigga, or Kanye West, there's a nigga coming with a flow.
Does not exist in a Drake session. You better stop. There's no flow. There's a flow-free zone.
In a Kanye West session, he might come up with the flow, and then Pusha T, Sci-Hi, all them will come up with the lyrics, right? Same thing with Travis Scott. They're the lyricist of the whole situation. That happens. I've been the person in a room where all I did is make sure that the lyrics was hot, and we came up with a song. That is a lyricist. So that has nothing to do with the skill of the entire songwriting process. And what I'm trying to say is that when Lupe is saying that he's a better rapper, he means that I'm more technically skilled at being able to do what an MC needs to do. That's the punchlines. That's the flow. That's the lyrics, the lyricism and lyricist part, which is false. I'm going to say is a false thing, but it's also something you cannot prove in our world without going head to head. It's just talk. Until you go head to head, I would say that I would be okay with even saying that Lupe is a better lyricist than Kendrick Lamar before the battle. But I've seen who Kendrick Lamar is doing the battle. I know who the fuck he is now. Ain't nothing better than that. There's nobody. What are you talking about? He's done the lyrics. So you're either as good or you're worse. There's nothing better than what we just really,
and I get you're better than Kendrick. Like you should say that as an MC. But like the whole thing seemed very hatery, and somebody in the chat was like, well, he's promoting the album. So this didn't feel like I'm promoting the album, so I'm gonna say some fly shit. This is like I should have what Kendrick has. So
he's taking it as. That's what most people are taking it as, and I never speak on how.
So, as you just heard, after everything that unfolded between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, King Green now places Kendrick ahead of Lupe Fiasco when it comes to pure lyricism. I can't lie though, one reaction to that had me laughing. Someone pointed out that Kendrick isn't exactly battle-tested, because the biggest opponent he faced was the same artist he and others have repeatedly labeled as a pop star. And if you caught that detail, you already know why it stood out. Long before the battle even happened, one of the biggest criticisms aimed at Drake was that he had crossed over into being more of a pop artist than a traditional rapper. Even people close to Kendrick, including Glasses Malone, have made similar arguments by saying Drake belongs in the pop category instead of the rap lane. So that naturally raises an interesting question. If Drake is supposedly just a pop star, why does defeating him automatically elevate Kendrick above someone like Lupe? Now, to be fair, others would argue that Kendrick wasn't just battling Drake, but also the writers people have accused Drake of relying on over the years. Either way, let me know where you stand in the comments, because this debate is far from over. As for Lupe, he was eventually asked about his controversial Logic comparison, and despite all the backlash, he still refused to back away from what he originally said.
People that are like not really that great, or is there something that we're missing because niggas don't understand the Logic shit at all? Do you still think that?
Logic is a huge fan of me. He's like a brother. I fuck with him a lot. That 1-800 record is probably one of the most important records of all time. And every time we get into some hip hop shit or some rap shit, when you look at what this record really does and mean, and does it move the needle? Is it going to cause a revolution? It don't do none of that shit. And it becomes about just servicing, right? He's not whack. We acting like he garbage. That's crazy work, right? And so for me, like, I'm just giving tension, and it's jovial because I'm talking to Ebro, who's a comedian, right? And I'm talking what's his name? Paul Rosenberg, the other Rosenberg, like
it's Peter.
Peter Rosenberg. We at Hot 97 vibing, so this isn't meant to be malicious. Like, we're laughing, and I'm making fun of Rosenberg, right? Rosenberg is one of the most influential dudes when it comes to supporting New York rap. Period. And I'm talking about at the ground level, and he knows. Right, he be at EO Dubs and Homeboy Sandman, and he knows what it really is, right? So I'm playing with him, right? But I'm also hitting him with like, yeah, you got to take that into consideration. Whether you agree with me or not, that's my opinion, right? But when I mention King Los, ain't nobody say nothing, right? Nope. And you don't bring King Los into that shit. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of like, it is what it is, and the homie is fire, and everybody's fire, so cool. But we can have those conversations, right? But we ain't finna discuss Los, are we? No, we're not. Right. So on the other side of that coin, and you seen Rosenberg recently try to talk him down. Like, nigga, you crazy. Lois told him, like, nigga, you crazy? You know how the fuck I get down? When it comes to that, can't nobody see me at all. And he's right. With that said, though, I'm not trolling. To me, it's barbershop conversation amongst our friends, and people like to take that really, really seriously. And the one thing that I do check myself on, and what I've learned from this whole experience, is that everybody says, like, bro, you got power. And for me, this shows that, like, yeah, I got power, because don't nobody respond to a nigga that's not a threat. And the only thing you can be threatened by is power, right? So if I was a nobody or nothing, you wouldn't care about me at all. We wouldn't be having none of these conversations at all. You wouldn't get platformed or whatever, right? So I'm not mad at that. I feel like I'm getting the opposite of what Doc got when he went at Drake. He went up. I went all the way the fuck down. But to me, it's
From my perspective, it doesn't sound like Lupe was simply trolling with those comments, although I could be mistaken. That's just how I see it, but I'm curious to hear your opinion, because this conversation can definitely be viewed from different angles. And the story doesn't stop there. Lupe Fiasco also hinted that going forward, he may no longer publicly show support for Kendrick Lamar, saying people only seem to pay attention whenever he has something critical to say, instead of acknowledging the praise he's given in the past.
After what I seen yesterday for the first time and what I seen this morning for the first time, my perspective on the whole situation is completely changed. I feel like a fool. Like, I show too much love, too much grace, too much charity. And then I know that it will never get resolved. So as long as the real niggas know, I said who did what, where, when, first to win, I don't really care. If y'all want to do the research to figure out what the fuck I'm talking about, you can talk to L, you can talk to Mick, or you can talk, because everybody on the call, except maybe those BK and Dewan, maybe you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but these three do. And it changes completely the perspective of how I look at people, because I respect you as a rapper first, but then after that, I have to respect you as a person. And I keep it G with everybody I'm with. So the things I've seen today and how the things I've experienced in real life with people, after what I seen yesterday and today for the first time ever, I don't feel bad no more about fucking nothing. So niggas can have smoke, do whatever the fuck they want to do. But what I've seen and the receipts that I have, brother, and chilling with my people, because I already know what that is.
But the conversation didn't end there. Lupe Fiasco also took aim at what he described as stan behavior, arguing that artists need to recognize how their most devoted fans can sometimes take things way too far. He suggested that rappers should think carefully about the influence they have, because their supporters can end up turning that loyalty into reckless actions. As an example, he pointed back to the peak of the Kendrick and Drake battle, when Drake's home was hit in a shooting, reminding everyone that intense fan rivalries can have real-world consequences far beyond music.
As long as the real is in the space, Justin, as long as you know, and the funny part is, Justin and L, you know what we all know, right? With the straight face. Justin, you know what I'm talking about. You know who did what first. You know who said such and such to such and such first, but you know they'll never say it. They'll never put themselves in that scoop. So as one of the realest in this space, and I've been around all I care about is the real to run the shit. All my Haitian niggas, the niggas on whatever card you play, whatever on the G side, they know who the fuck I'm talking to, and they've been texting my phone, and they've been like, yeah, nigga, you good. So everything else, I'm not worried about that. But I do need to keep it measured and straight, so niggas know fans get people killed.
That's very
right?
fair.
That shit you talk, the shit you hype up in them comments, you're hyping up some nigga who gonna try and pull up to prove a point. Just like the nigga who shot up Drake house. Y'all gotta fucking relax.
And just when it seemed like the Lupe Fiasco versus Kendrick Lamar discussion was finally cooling off, Lupe dropped another statement that shifted all the attention in a completely different direction. This time, he brought Nas into the conversation, and you won't believe how fast that single comment sparked an entirely new wave of heated debates across the hip-hop community.
Punchline. So is he not lyrical? What about other literary devices? I remember Lou praising Blue back in the day. He also isn't a punchline heavy MC. How can we reconcile this? Over the floor.
So in terms of like, if you compare Nas to, if you remove, like again, for me, remove the beat, remove everything else, and just go with the words. If you threw Nas into, and you created the list of just people who rap, which is a big list. There's hundreds of thousands of rappers. And you remove all that, he wouldn't rank high. I wouldn't rank high. That doesn't mean we're not lyricists in our space, but when you isolate it to that, just that fundamental part, a lot of people don't rank high. I'm saying because I know beasts, like people who all they do is punchlines, similes, entendres all day. And I also know that I'm really high, but I also know there's thousands. And we haven't done a count. We haven't done a survey. We haven't done a proper summary. It was something I wanted to do a couple of years ago. And we might do it in the future if things like this become more people are get interested in that, to really see how many rappers are there in the world. I reached out to Spotify, I reached out to SoundCloud, trying to get a list, even though some of that is like proprietary information and it's private, just to get a count of how many rappers there are in the world. And out of that, how many are in this genre, how many do this, how many do that. And you can sit and test skill. It'll take some time. But, it doesn't take away from Nas as a lyricist at all, because he's Nas. Like, that's crazy. But if you start to, when you compare him to just like punches, the guy said it himself, Nas don't have a lot of punches. He don't have a lot of like bars like that, compared to like a Chino XL IT, which is all bars. So if you're rating it on bars, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, Chino XL. If you're rating it on that chill, are they both lyricists? Yeah, because again, we kind of defined as a unit. Everybody has pieces of the.
For a lot of people, that was the final breaking point, and the backlash only got louder from there. One user even went as far as saying, "I'm just gonna say it, Lupe is anti-black, always has been and always will be," a claim that immediately fueled even more controversy. But what do you think about Lupe's opinion? Do you agree or disagree with his argument that when you judge lyricism through punchlines, metaphors, similes, entendres, homophones, and other technical writing skills, Nas doesn't rank as high as many fans believe? And that's not the only update we have, because there's also fresh news from Shady Records artist Westside Boogie regarding his highly anticipated upcoming album.
New Westside Boogie music, and when can we expect it?
I ain't told nobody, right? But my plan that I came up with last night while I was drunk, that I'm gonna drop an album on my birthday, August 30th.
August 30th? That's an exclusive?
First people I'm telling, so y'all know that. I'm dropping an album, but hopefully I gotta stand on it, so.
Facts.
I don't know if I'm gonna put this out.
We putting it out. We putting it out. Anything that you can tell us about the album, title, features, producers, concepts, anything?
I'm more so just finishing the songs. I usually think about the features after, so I ain't really thought it through yet. If Eminem or Kendrick bless me, I'm lit. So Eminem or Kendrick, I'm pretty sure I could get it if I asked, though. I just gotta ask, but.
We would love to see that. We would love to hear that.
I would love to see it too. I need a plaque. But I think there's more vulnerability and just my growth as a person. I think I'm in a different mindset than I was 3 years ago. Obviously, I think that's how humans are. So this is my present mind state. That's all you can expect.
It also looks like some Eminem fans are starting to lose their patience, and now they're openly calling him out over the lack of new music. One frustrated fan wrote, Can someone explain why it's become so difficult for Eminem to give even one feature verse these days? It's been an entire year since his last song, LOL. At Rosenberg, at least give the fans some kind of update because things have been way too quiet for way too long. Then another person jumped in with a joke, saying that since Eminem now has 2 grandkids, both of his hands must be busy, leaving no room to hold a microphone anymore.